Question 1. In what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? We first thought about what genre we would do for our film trailer, and after many suggestions, we decided to do a horror. We looked at films such as Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream. We then, as a group, picked out conventions and similarities that these movies had, making them a horror film. The pin drop silence, fast editing, dark settings, and vulnerable character is what was repetitive, not only in these trailers, but other horror trailers we looked at. We then took into consideration and decided we will use these conventions in order to create our jaw-dropping horror trailer. However, before we started making storyboards and filming scenes, we decided that our audience should have a say in what they'd like to see in a new horror film, and if they would like us to differ from the conventions or challenge them. To our surprise, the feedback we got stated that the audience wanted us to stick to the conventions, as one of the individuals said, "If you differ from these conventions and try to challenge them, the trailer may not be a horror, as the horror genre is straightforward and only works with those specific conventions." We then took in and decided that we would stick to the conventions. We have one main character that is the antagonist, and three vulnerable female characters as our three characters in our trailer. The main character, who is the antagonist, has a hidden identity which will not be revealed to the audience. We got this convention from the movie Saw, in which the antagonist has a hidden identity which creates anxiety and questions, which fits into the horror genre. We believe that if we would have perhaps challenged the convention, then it may have ended up as a hybrid genre, which we wouldn't have wanted. One of the most repetitive of all conventions is the vulnerable female convention. With films such as Scream and The Final Girl, both having female characters who are the main vulnerable ones, we thought we could challenge this. Ways in which we challenge it by first having black vulnerable females and one European female with dark hair. Usually, the image of a vulnerable female would be slim, blonde-haired, and attractive, whereas by not using those features, we have deferred from the expectations of the audience, and in hopes still get the same effect of the horror. We looked at trailers such as I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream, and Valentine, and we became aware of the fact that in these trailers, there seems to be hope for the characters, as there's scenes of them running and hiding from the killer. This was another convention in which we thought we had to challenge, and we showed this in our trailer by not hinting a glimmer of hope for the female characters. The reason why we've done this is to create anxiety and a strong wave of word of mouth for our film through simple conventions such as suspense rather than a typical focus on gore. We stereotypically linked our female characters, for example the Eastern European film, dresses and looks fashionable, which could make her the most popular girl in school character who could portray Nevi Campbell, who plays Sydney in Scream. Our second female, who is black, looks and dresses like the stereotypical antisocial black female, who could portray Regina Hall, who plays Brenda in Scary Movie 2. However, we decided that the other black female would be the opposite, seeing as she looks smart just by the costume she wears. We decided to stereotypically choose our characters to what we would see in stereotypical horror films. However, we decided to develop that convention, and not only have we done this, we have hoped to change the stereotypical view of a black female in our horror films. Our media product, forms, and conventions from the film Saw. Similarly, scenes which are seen in Saw are seen in our movie. We decided to use a CCTV effect in our movie. This was done to emphasize the sense of being trapped, which is used in our tagline, "Imagine being trapped in your own fears." We developed this feature by putting the females in separate rooms, whereas the characters in Saw are in the same room. This is so there's a feel of isolation. Other conventions we have used, such as fades to black, which we have noticed is used significantly in a numerous amount of horror films, such as Nightmare on Elm Street and Freddy vs. Jason. We did this convention in order to create tension amongst the audience. Another way we connected with the audience is through the tagline, "Imagine being trapped in your own fears." The specific word "your" is addressing the audience and adding a sense of involvement and realism. We took this idea from a film, Alien, and with their tagline is, "In space, no one can hear you scream," and in Jaws, "This time it's personal." One convention we made sure we did not miss out on is the scary music convention. Without the effect of the scary and eerie music effect, as we looked over a range of horror movies such as Saw, Nightmare on Elm Street, Psycho, and Jaws, we noticed the excessive use of diegetic sounds. These range from screams, heavy breathing, dripping water, and the ringing of a mobile phone to create anxiety and enigma. Taking this into account of what we have seen, we decided to use it in our own horror trailer film. Some of the features we decided to use were heavy breathing and clicking, as we believed that these were the most important of the other features. Our film would have possibly been a failed horror film, as this convention is a must-have in a horror film. For our ancillary task, we decided to do a poster. Beforehand, we looked at many film posters, and consistent features we spotted were close-ups, blurred image, large font, which specifically signifies importance to the date and continuous color scheme. After viewing all of those, we took on the knowledge we gained and decided to follow all the features by having a close-up of our main vulnerable female, which is also another convention of a horror magazine. We also blurred her face to create the sense of enigma. We kept the continuous color scheme of black and red as it suits the horror genre and conventions. The last important feature we stuck to was the bold font of the date. This signified the importance of the date and reveals to the audience when the movie is coming out, and for them to anticipate it. And not to reveal too much, by not revealing too much, we hope to trigger a viral marketing campaign. This is also conventional, as another successful film, such as Saw, is known for its anonymity, which triggered a viral marketing campaign. For our magazine cover, we decided to challenge the conventions by using the main actress as herself and not as a character. We also noticed this happens for the film Transformers, whereas Megan Good is on the Empire cover as herself and not as an actress. We thought we could do this, as this could be an exception. The other convention of a magazine poster are following: central image behind the magazine company's name, persuasive Lexus, a unique selling point, referral to other movies. All four are main features that a magazine has to follow in order to comply with the conventions. The use of central image in front of the masthead conveys the successfulness of the magazine. Also, the central image gives significance and importance to the film. So in the case using Margarita di Carvalho gives our film Red Rum more importance and intention. The use of persuasive language in the magazine is done in order to attract an audience to read the magazine. For example, a magazine uses persuasive lexis such as the most anticipated horror film of 2011, makes the viewer feel as if they must have a look and read the magazine. This is a conventional feature, as it can be seen in major magazines such as The Empire. We needed a unique selling point that would give the reader a reason to buy the magazine. So by inserting the tagline, "Access all areas," would give the reader reason to buy the magazine. By adding access all areas, this implies that the magazine has only all exclusive access to the movie, which is again a conventional feature we had to use. We noticed that the magazine attracted viewers more by referrals to other movies. This shows the variety in the magazine. So once again, by adding features, we realized we could attract different types of audiences, as we added referrals to romantic movies, thriller movies, and even a documentary. By adding barcodes, issue dates, issue numbers, and etc., we hope that it would add a sense of realism to our magazine, and in fact, by doing so, we have achieved this.